the Chief Operating Officer and Director of Brother International New Zealand, Mr. Matthews, the CEO of Telecom Fiji Limited, Chairman, Telecom Fiji Limited, board members of Telecom Fiji, invited guests, members of the media, ladies and gentlemen. Nisambula, and a very good evening to you all. Very happy to be here this evening to share with you some of the vision of the Fijian government in line with what the work that we do as a ministry, and thank you for the invitation for me to be here this evening to hand over some valuable tools to some great partners who assist in our work. At this point, let me express the appreciation of the Fijian government to the company's leadership to stage such a committed corporate social responsibility. I'm sure we are not looking at this as just a one-off event, and we look forward for many more events to come in the near future. So thank you, Telecom Fiji. If I may say, your company's lenses to support organizations that serve the disadvantaged and the disabled people in Fiji is very much appreciated and praised by us all. This playing field, ladies and gentlemen, is the common ground with which our ministry operates. Often, the government is always taken to task for public accountability, while corporate organizations separate themselves and not provide the partnering support for a national agenda. But I believe the partnership we have here this evening is a clear indication of corporate partnership towards fulfilling social responsibilities. We cannot live like that, as we all have a role to play in the development of our nation and providing services to those disadvantaged members of our nation. I believe years ago, corporate social responsibility used to be a charity initiative that involved collecting money or organizing volunteers for a local charity. All these have changed as large businesses and companies have, in their own initiative, made it part of their business model to lend a helping hand to the very organizations that go out of their way to help the less fortunate. Corporate social responsibility is internationally recognized as a significant contributor to achieving sustainable development across all dimensions. Companies we work with, which are pursuing inclusive business models, find that they're also able to achieve their own corporate goals, benefiting from improved efficiency, cost saving, stronger branding, increased public trust, improved employee health, and of course, better access to markets. This evening is a very special one for the ministry as well as for me as personally, as we are going to honor the very organizations who serve as outstanding examples of corporate social responsibility. These organizations have in their agenda the heartbeat for ground-level support for the disabled and the disadvantaged of our nation. I have no doubt that the printers that come in the way of tools here that will be given will assist them in the daily routines and outputs in reaching out to the wider community at large. Telecom Fiji Limited has stood by the Fijian government to partner with the ministry with Digicel and Vodafone for the first Fiji's national child helpline. It has given our children and parents an avenue to seek assistance in times of violence, abuse, counseling, and of course, providing information and awareness on child issues from wherever they are. And I believe Telecom will stand by it to further cooperate with the ministry in many other humanitarian projects that we have planned for the coming years. I do not doubt this, as you have just shown a compassionate gesture to the 10 organizations who will be presented with brother printers here this evening. If I may quote, Winston Churchill in his maiden speech in 1945 mentioned, "Give us the tools and we will finish the job," unquote. These printers, I believe, are the very tools to equip these noble organizations who will use as they work tirelessly in their work. I ask these organizations to care for these printers as they can be used for a very, very long time. In a short time, if I may share with you, our ministry has come to realize that we have many families out there, especially the physically disabled people, the mentally challenged people, those living in poverty, who need our assistance. And if I may also mention here that this year the ministry's priority is to reach out to these disadvantaged and the disabled who are living in our maritime areas, who are living in the rural areas, because many at times the services do not reach to them. So if I may plead with these organizations here today to complement my ministry's work in reaching out to these very special people in our society. We have also found out in regards to the mentally challenged members of our society, there's always a tendency for families to neglect them. And this is what we have found out during our recent visit that happened a couple of days ago at the St. Giles Hospital. Sad to say, there are many who have recovered from this illness and have not been visited or accepted back into their family. And the ministry has promised these recovered patients that we will, as I said, reach out to the families out there in the society and see that they are accepted back in their families. Because such hospitals and institutions, we do not see that as homes to these disadvantaged people. And if you have been reading the news and watching the news as well, we have a lot of mentally challenged and disabled members on our streets. And that is a priority for us. And this is where we partner with our corporate partners and bring about awareness and question the very, very foundations of our family who refuse to accept such members. So we believe that by repeated messaging that families must take responsibility for these disadvantaged members is the only way forward. Of course, I've already mentioned family, and if I may also add that the conditions in which these members live on our streets is not the best place for them, as they are subjected to abuse. And we know that streets are no place for such members. And if I may also add here, an article that said that a woman with her 3 children was living on the streets of in the streets of Lautoka for 2 weeks. Sad to say, it took the media to bring that to our attention when we have our very members moving across these towns and cities who pay no heed to the conditions, who do not even bother to stop and find out why such situations exist. 3 girls and their mother lived in Shirley Park for 2 weeks, oblivious of those near them. It was only yesterday that news was relayed to us, and we did not delay. We reached out to them, we've spoken to them, and I'm happy to announce here that we have reunited them with their families. It doesn't take much, it just takes a noble thought. And it doesn't have to be me as a minister or the Prime Minister, it's our responsibility. It's our social responsibility. So we need to work together with such responsibilities to ensure that we reach out to these people. There's no reason for us to wait and turn a blind eye to such disadvantaged members of our community. And I'd like to take this opportunity to thank Telecom Fiji. And of course, on this note, if I can request for more support from other corporate organizations out there, we need to partner in initiatives such as this so that we really share our happiness with those who do not have. Okay? I have this very famous saying, let us be thankful for what we have been given, and let us go out of our way to share with what we have with those who may not have what we have. So with this hope, I think we can partner and be champions. I do hope that you and I can become champion for the disabled and the disadvantaged living in our country, because such approach contributes positively to self-reliance and not a life of begging and dependency. And of course, if I can emphasize that we all can make a difference by working together to achieve a common prosperity and change the existing landscape that exists for the underprivileged and the disabled in Fiji. On that note, may I wish Telecom Fiji all the best, and I look forward for partnering with you in all future endeavors with the ministry and of course with the Fijian government, and fulfill the government's vision of improving lives for the disadvantaged, and of course which includes women and children as well. So once again, thank you for inviting me to be here, and thank you very much.